Good evening. Welcome to the Township of Howell Planning Board meeting for Thursday, January 2nd, 2025. This is a reorganization meeting and regular meeting. Eileen, opening statement, please.
Sure. I hereby declare this meeting of the Howell Township Planning Board to be open. Adequate notice having been given pursuant to the New Jersey Open Public Meeting Act in the following manner. First, on January 5th, 2024, a copy of said notice was emailed to the Asbury Park Press and the Star Ledger. Second, on January 5th, 2024, a copy of said notice was hand-delivered to the clerk of the Township of Howell. Third, on January 5th, 2024, said notice was posted in the office of the Planning Board and on the bulletin board in the Howell Township Municipal Building, 4567 Route 9, Howell Township, New Jersey. In accordance with the Fire Prevention Code and your safety, please be advised that this facility is designed with 2 emergency exits, which are at the front and rear of the meeting room. Furthermore, smoking is not permitted in the municipal building. Please take note that this meeting is being videotaped for possible future broadcast on Howell Township TV 77. Thank you.
Thank you.
We don't have a chairman yet because it's our reorganizing, so I'm just going to sort of butt in and handle that until we elect one. Right now, what we're going to do is administer the oaths of office. So anyone who needs to take the oath, if you could please stand. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Brian Tannenhouse,
Do solemnly swear or affirm that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly
I will faithfully, impartially, and justly
perform all the duties of the office of Planning Board Member
all the duties of the office of Planning Board Member
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
and that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
and to the governments established in the United States
and to the governments established in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people. So
Congratulations.
I just need those forms back, but you can give them to me when we go.
And if we just take a roll call, Eileen?
Yes, roll call. Mr. Cristiano?
Present.
Mr. Greenfield's been excused. Mr. Carbonic?
Present.
Mr. Mercer?
Here.
Mr. Tannenhouse?
Here.
Mr. Rebel?
Here.
Councilman Nadell?
Here.
Mayor Leggio?
Here.
Mr. Beto?
Here.
Mr. Withers has been excused, and Mr. Husser.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Okay, we'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. Pledge of
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Okay, Eileen, it's my understanding the board wishes to go into executive session. So if you could just read the resolution into the record.
Whereas Title 10, Chapter 4, Section 13 of the New Jersey Revised Statutes requires that the public shall not be excluded from any meetings of a public body unless a resolution authorizing such exclusion is adopted at a public meeting, and whereas the Planning Board of the Township of Howell has determined that such a closed meeting is required to discuss certain matters which are exempted from consideration with the public in attendance under New Jersey Revised Statutes 10:4-12, namely personnel. Now therefore be it resolved by the Planning Board of the Township of Howell that the public shall be excluded from the next portion of this meeting, and the Planning Board will reconvene in public session thereafter. Be it further resolved that minutes will be kept of the meeting in closed session, and the time and circumstances under which the discussion conducted in closed session can be disclosed to the public cannot be determined at this time.
Okay, do we have anyone moving the motion?
I'll make a motion to go into executive session.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Eileen?
Mr. Cristiano?
Yes.
Mr. Carbonic?
Yes.
Mr. Mercer?
Yes.
Mr. Tannenhouse?
Yes.
Mr. Rebel?
Yes.
Councilman Nadell?
Yes.
Mayor Leggio?
Yes.
Mr. Beto?
Yes.
And Mr. Husser.
Yes.
Motion carries. planning board will now reconvene.
Okay. Our first order of business will be the election of the chairman for 2025. Is there a motion?
I make motion to nominate Nick Huzar as chairman.
Second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Mr. Cristiano?
Yes.
Mr. Carvonic?
Yes.
Mr. Mercer?
Yes.
Mr. Tannenhouse?
Yes.
Mr. Rebel?
Yes.
Councilman Nadell?
Yes.
Mayor Leggio?
Yes.
Mr. Beto?
Yes.
And Chairman Husser.
Yes.
Motion carries.
I turn the meeting over to you.
All right, thanks, Ron. Okay, next, do I have a nomination for vice chairman?
I'd like to nominate Vice Chair Chris Mercer.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a second.
Motion and a second. Mr. Cristiano?
Yes.
Mr. Carvonic?
Yes.
Mr. Mercer?
Yes.
Mr. Tannenhouse?
Yes.
Mr. Rebel?
Yes.
Councilman Nadell?
Yes.
Mayor Leggio?
Yes.
Mr. Beto?
Yes.
And Chairman Husser.
Yes.
Motion carries. Congratulations.
Okay, I need a nomination for secretary.
Nominate Eileen for secretary.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Mr. Cristiano?
Yes.
Mr. Carvonic?
Yes.
Mr. Mercer?
Yes.
Mr. Tannenhouse?
Yes.
Mr. Rebel?
Yes.
Councilman Nadell?
Yes.
Mayor Leggio?
Yes.
Mr. Beto?
Yes.
And Chairman Husser.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Do I have a nomination for consulting attorney?
I'll make a nomination for the Wiener Law Group.
Do I have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Mr. Cristiano?
Yes.
Mr. Carvonic?
Yes.
Mr. Mercer?
Yes.
Mr. Tannenhouse?
Yes.
Mr. Rebel?
Yes.
Councilman Nadell?
Yes.
Mayor Leggio?
Yes.
Mr. Beto?
Yes.
And Chairman Husser.
Yes.
Motion carries.
I thank the board members.
Thank you, Ron. Do I have a nomination for consulting engineer?
I'll make a nomination for CME to be consulting engineer.
Do I have a second? All right.
A motion and a second. Mr. Cristiano?
Yes.
Mr. Carvonic?
Yes.
Mr. Mercer?
Yes.
Mr. Tannenhouse?
Yes.
Mr. Rebel?
Yes.
Councilman Nadell?
Yes.
Mayor Leggio?
Yes.
Mr. Beto?
Yes.
And Chairman Husser.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Do I
You're
have a
welcome.
nomination for consulting planner? I'll make a nomination for Leon Avakian.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. Mr. Cristiano?
Yes.
Mr. Carvonic?
Yes.
Mr. Mercer?
Yes.
Mr. Tannenhouse?
Yes.
Mr. Rebel?
Yes.
Councilman Nadell?
Yes.
Mayor Leggio?
Yes.
Mr. Beto?
Yes.
And Chairman Husser.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Do I have a nomination for licensed tree expert?
I'll make a nomination that CME be the licensed tree expert.
Second.
Or motion, sorry.
Motion and a second. Mr. Cristiano?
Yes.
Mr. Carvonic?
Yes.
Mr. Mercer?
Yes.
Mr. Tannenhouse?
Yes.
Mr. Rebel?
Yes.
Councilman Nadell?
Yes.
Mayor Leggio?
Yes.
Mr. Beto?
Yes.
And Chairman Husser.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
And we'll do the next two simultaneously, a nomination for both administrative officer and recording secretary.
I'll nominate Eileen.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Mr. Cristiano?
Yes.
Mr. Carvonic?
Yes.
Mr. Mercer?
Yes.
Mr. Tannenhouse?
Yes.
Mr. Rebel?
Yes.
Councilman Nadell?
Yes.
Mayor Leggio?
Yes.
Mr. Beto?
Yes.
And Chairman Husser.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Do we need to discuss the meeting dates, Eileen?
No, we just need to approve them as we discussed. So
Okay.
we need a motion and a
I'll
second.
make a motion to approve the 2025 to 2026 meeting dates as we discussed.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Mr. Cristiano?
Yes.
Mr. Carvonic?
Yes.
Mr. Mercer?
Yes.
Mr. Tannenhouse?
Yes.
Mr. Rebel?
Yes.
Councilman Nadell?
Yes.
Mayor Leggio?
Yes.
Mr. Beto?
Yes.
And Chairman Husser.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you. Official newspapers, they were determined by the governing body to be the Asbury Park Press and the Star Ledger.
Yep.
The Environmental Commission liaison is myself, as I sit on the Environmental Commission. The Site Review Committee,
I'll make a motion to
No,
nominate.
There's no motion.
The
Oh,
chairman
that's right,
appoints.
never mind, sorry.
Yeah, so I'm going to appoint myself as the chairman with Dan Carbonic and Brian Tannenhouse as members. And the Master Plan Review Committee, I am appointing Mr. Rebel as chairman and Mr. Mercer and Mr. Cristiano as members.
Okay.
And on to the regular meeting. Approval of minutes For the regular meeting, December 5th, 2024, eligible voters, Mr. Cristiano, Mayor Leggio, Mr. Mercer, Mr. Rebel, Mr. Carbanek, and myself. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Cristiano?
Yes.
Mr. Carbonek?
Yes.
Mr. Mercer?
Yes.
Mr. Rebel?
Yes.
Mayor Leggio?
Yes.
And Chairman Husser?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Eileen, any vouchers?
No vouchers.
Any correspondence?
Yes, I have 3 emails. The first one is from Matthew Posada. He is the attorney for SP 1127 Diversified Acquisitions LLC. They asked if the board adopted their dates, if he could have February 20th, and if we could please make it with no further notice and announce it tonight. He also granted an extension of time through the end of February.
So if that's okay, Mr. Chairman, I'll make the...
Sure.
The application of Diversified Acquisitions LLC, SP-1127. The application will be carried to the board's February 26, 2000...
20th.
I'm sorry, February 20th, 2025 meeting. It is a live meeting beginning here in the main meeting room at Town Hall, beginning at 7 o'clock. There will be no further notice to property owners.
The second email is from John Jackson. He's the attorney for case number SP 1123 SMC Properties. He has also asked for February 20th and asked that that could be carried with no further notice.
Okay. Application of SMC Properties LLC, SP-1123, be carried to the board's February 20th, 2025 meeting. It's a live meeting beginning at 7 o'clock here in the main meeting room in Town Hall. There will be no further notice to property owners.
And the last email is from Michael Herbert. He's the attorney for case number SD 3013 Basadar LLC. He has also asked for February 20th. He's still waiting to hear from his engineer, but if we could at least carry it to that date, if he has a problem, they'll have to go to another date.
These are the application of Bessidar LLC, SD-3013, will be carried to the board's February 20th, 2025 meeting. It is a live meeting beginning 7 o'clock here in the main meeting room in Town Hall. There'll be no further notice to property owners.
And that is all I have for correspondence.
Thank you. Any resolutions?
I have no resolutions.
Okay. Review of submission waivers before the board. Case number SP 1133, Archangel Michael Coptic Orthodox Church. It's for preliminary and final site plan.
Good evening, Mr. Chair,
Happy New
members of
Year.
the board. Kenneth Pape on behalf of your applicant. There are a list of checklist waivers set forth in CME's letter of December 12, 2024. I have had the opportunity to review them with Ms. Newman, and it's my understanding she has recommendations for the board, and I will let the board know that her recommendations are acceptable to the applicant.
You swear or affirm the testimony about to provide this board is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do. So, Mr. Chair, in the absence of going through what I usually state, our report date, Mr. Pape handled me. So the only item we request to be provided is item 60, which is the 2,000-foot downstream drainage analysis. The balance of the items, I take no exception to waiving at this time.
Does that require a vote of the
Yes.
board? Yeah. Okay. That's acceptable to the applicant. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Pape. Any questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it. Mr. Tannenhouse.
Motion is second. Mr. Cristiano?
Yes.
Mr. Carbonek?
Yes.
Mr. Mercer?
Yes.
Tannenhouse?
Yes.
Mr. Rebel?
Yes.
Councilman Nadell? Mayor Leggio?
Yes.
Mr. Beto?
Yes.
And Chairman Husser?
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you all. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night, Mr.
And another submission waiver this evening is case number SP 1034A Gutierrez Properties LLC for preliminary and final major site plan with ancillary variance and design waiver relief. Good evening.
Good evening, members of the board. Happy New Year.
Happy New
Lou
Year.
Felicetta, appearing on behalf of Gutierrez Properties, the applicant. We have not had a chance to speak about any of the submission waivers, but we would defer to the board and be guided by whatever they say.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, do you swear or affirm the testimony you provide this board is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. So, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, we have a December 4th, 2024 review letter. The submission waivers are specifically outlined in item 3, and it does appear that there's a lot of submission waivers, but the nature of this is really just storage containers that are going to be going atop gravel, so there's not a lot of disturbance. So as a result of that, I take no exception to the granting of these waivers for the purposes of deeming the application complete.
Got it? Any questions? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Mr. Mercer, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Cristiano?
Mr. Cristiano?
Yes.
Mr. Carvonic?
Yes.
Mr. Mercer?
Yes.
Mr. Tannenhouse?
Yes.
Mr. Rebel?
Yes.
Councilman Nadell? Mayor Leggio?
Yes.
Mr. Beto?
Yes.
And Chairman Husser.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you all.
Thank you, good evening.
Happy New Year.
All right, so there's no applications this evening. Jennifer, master plan status report?
So what we're going to be faced with this year, I almost said next year, is the housing element and fair share plan. The next affordable housing round is kicking off really at the end of this month. There's going to be an action taken by the governing body, passing a resolution, kind of entering us into the process, and we have until June 30th to adopt a housing element, meaning we have to be done with the document by the end of May in order to meet the notice requirements to get us on a public hearing in June. But that's going to be the focus, master plan-wise, at least for the first half of the year. And there's no need to budget for it because the preparation, my time, Andy Bayer's time gets paid for out of the trust fund, so it doesn't come out of the general fund.
Not to put you on the spot,
Yeah,
but I'm going to put you on the spot.
okay.
Typically, for public, is one meeting usually enough for these?
It depends. Our number is a lot lower than we anticipated coming out of the DCA, and we're still looking at it because what I've been finding is the DCA data is not accurate, and the number could potentially be lower. Do I think we're going to get people out? Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the nature of the beast, but I think that, it's going to be a less impactful scenario as this past round because the past round was 25 years, from 2000 to 2025. And so the numbers were significantly higher, which necessitated bigger or more projects than we're going to have to face this time. So the goal is, and we're going to know pretty good before we get to a public hearing if it's going to be super controversial or not. But, I would definitely anticipate people. I will anticipate people coming who made proposals, want to be in the plan, didn't get selected by the governing body to be put in the plan. I anticipate them coming. But, the goal is one meeting, which is why I want to be done by the end of May so that we have, put it on
Buffer.
maybe the first
Yep.
meeting in May, and then we have the second meeting if we need to, just to make sure we make that deadline.
Got it.
Now, that's the deadline today. Some of these deadlines that came out of that legislation are a bit suspect, let's just say. Ambitious, that's even better word, even better word. And thus far, there's been no changes to that schedule. I do think that as this process moves, some of those deadlines may get pushed because I think for some communities that the numbers are like in the 9s. I don't know that they're going to be able to pull it together in like a couple months. So we'll see. But that's the goal. That's the master plan goal for 25
Awesome.
for now.
What was the number they gave us? Do you know?
338.
So in this process, is a location picked for this?
They
Predetermined?
The governing body basically decides.
They
Like, we have
decide.
had interested individuals come in and present proposals starting kind of in the fall, once the numbers started to come out. So the governing body has, or administration has a running list of everyone who's come in, what their proposal is, and where the sites are. Now that we're into 2025, there's going to be a point where a decision has to be made on which projects are going to go to meet the number and which are not. I would anticipate the number coming down a little bit more because, like I said, in most of the communities, I've found that the DCA data is very inaccurate, and a lot of the properties had to come off of their list because they were either, like a perfect example, I did an analysis in Homedale, and like the art center is on the list for affordable housing. The median of the Parkway is on the list. The hospital is on the list. Like, every church in town is on the list. So we took a lot of those properties out before we, so in those instances, those towns are going to challenge the number, which could be a possibility here, but we have to know sooner than later. So I would anticipate knowing that early on, maybe end of next week, to give direction to the governing body, because they have to have a resolution either accepting or rejecting the number by the end of the month. And then that really kicks us into how we're gonna implement it.
And is the 338, is that the number that we're required, or that's the number that we're proposing?
That's the
after we-
number that DCA calculated for us.
And are we able to take advantage of one and
So,
1.5s and 2s if we have certain types of?
The
Like-
town
like
is
in the West.
definitely gonna take full advantage of the bonus structure. You do get bonuses, but the bonus structure has changed. So where you used to get 2-for-1 credit for a rental unit, that is no longer the case.
Got it.
You get like a half a credit per unit if you're close to mass transportation. You get a half a credit per unit if you're in a redevelopment area. But the 2-for-1 is over at this point.
No senior housing benefits? or
They did
veteran
increase the
benefits?
senior cap. Typically, it was a 25% cap on your obligation could be addressed with senior. That moved up to 30%. It's a modest increase. I will tell you that, Howell had successfully extended controls at Friendship Gardens, which is 100 credits that we already have on the ground, and all 100 controls were extended, so we're able to take credit for those again. So it's not new rooftops. So that definitely takes a big chunk of that obligation out. And then it's just a matter of ultimately what the number winds up being. What will happen is, if we challenge the number in March, the program, which is like the regulatory body that's overseeing this, has a dispute resolution process, in which that kind of is negotiated between the town. I'm sure Fair Share Housing Center will have a comment, any other interested individuals, and the court.
And everything for our veterans, did they put anything in the regulation? So
You can satisfy 50%, Ron, of your obligation through veterans, but I don't think it provides you like any bonus. It's
Right.
just, you can do that.
There's no bonus, but it's a preference.
Correct.
Yeah.
So once again, for the record, once again, the state of New Jersey doesn't take priorities.
So it's going to
For our
be
veterans.
interesting, because they've modified the process, kind of, and now they're kind of going backwards a little bit, because now, initially, it was going to be handled the way it was more in the second round, when COA was constituted, and you kind of go back and forth. But just recently, there was some kind of determination that now a declaratory judgment action is also going to have to be filed. So it's still kind of keeping things in the court's jurisdiction, so we'll see how it goes.
It'd be nice if Trenton just made New Jersey affordable.
I can understand the PNC Bank Arts Center and churches, but for the life of me, I can't understand how the Parkway median
Well, I think
is
that,
considered.
I've been trying to figure it out, because some of the other ones in other towns are just like,
But like, they're parcels of land, right?
Because
Yeah.
humans
You
didn't
look
put
at
it
the
together.
Parkway median.
Because a human didn't do it. They just threw it into a program.
It's vacant.
And that's what it's, that's
a
what
lot
it's
of,
out.
a lot of towns have, which I anticipate a lot of our numbers based on, when you have, let's just say, a cluster development, right? So you cluster down the development, and then you deed restrict the common open space.
So you're gonna say like Deerwood Park?
Correct.
Over
And
there.
so a lot of those are gonna have to come out, because it looks like a developable parcel, and
Right.
the people that did the analysis don't have any history on how that property came to be. So it's our obligation to show them this should not be included because it's deed restricted as common open space. So it's, it's not ideal, but that is gonna enable us to take some of the properties out.
I guess DCA employees don't have access to Google Earth.
Well, but it just looks vacant, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You
No,
see
I
what
get
they're doing in San Francisco? You have a house, and then say you have like 2 lots between your house and the next house.
Oh, that's-
They're making you put up
They're
homeless and
Yeah.
affordable in between you and the other houses.
Yeah.
They're forcing you. So think about that.
I don't know if Danny and Uncle Jesse would have done that, but.
So you understand, like, that's like in the real blue states, the real hard, that's what they're doing.
All right, anything else, folks? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Yeah.
Motion to
Yeah,
adjourn.
make a motion.
Thank you.